kind of advanced features of Mongoose that you will use in a realistic implementation. So let me go back to the same scenario that we had. So we had the bookstore where we manage books. So if we want to make use of Mongoose, the first step is to create a schema. So you're already familiar with this. So let me show you now a more realistic schema than the one I showed you last time. Here is a more realistic one. So here I have a book schema. It has an ISBN title, that's fine. Authors. In here it's an array of string. Although in real life you might have an array of author objects. But just to keep it simple, an array of strings. In here I have a publisher, which is an object. It has the name and the country. And I have here a category, pages. Read, this is by default, it will be false, and it is required. And created by default, if you don't supply it, it will be today's date. And then have a look at this. I have reviews. Reviews is an array of review schema. Here is a review schema, what I have. You know, when you go to Amazon, you have reviews. So you have the author who did the review. The rating, have a look at the rating. It is a number. It is required. Minimum is 0 and the maximum is 5. So you can put some validation rules in the schema. If these rules are violated, you get an error if you try to save some object to the database. You have the review text, and created on, by default, it will be set to today. Okay. So what I want to show you here is that the schema can be as complex as you can see here. You can have properties that are array, property that is an object, or property that is even an array of objects. So I could cut this and put it in here. Just to make things easier, I created a separate schema and then refer to it in this one. Okay? Now, in here, what I am doing kind of some kind of foreign key in this last one. And here I have a store, and a store will be an ID. So I'm saying here the type is an object ID, and it will be referring to another store object. So this book will be stored at certain store, okay? And the store is not embedded. So there are two ways you can put objects inside another object. Either you embed it, you put it as part of the object. And this one is linked. We call it linked. It's not embedded. So I have made this one also, if I wish, I could make this one linked. But I decided to make it embedded, just to show you the different ways of doing it. So for embedded, you just say this one is really a reference to an object that is stored in the store's collection. So here I'll have two collections. Remember, first of all, let me just remind you. This one has to go. Let me remind you. This is MongoDB database. It's made up of collections. And a collection is made up of documents. That is the idea. So in here, if you want to use Mongoose to interact with your database, read and write, you need to define the schema of each collection. That's what I did here. I have the schema of the book collection, and I have the schema of the store collection. Have a look at the store. Store collection, very simple. I kept it very simple, just a name and a city. And of course, after I define the schema, I create a model out of the schema. So the model is really the magicware that will handle all, makes it easier for me to read and write from a database in a very, very simple way. Okay, so is the schema idea clear? Okay. Now, let's imagine we have a database. So one way I can, of course, interact with it using some tool like Rombo Mongo. This is what there are many tools, but this one I find very useful. So, yeah. Okay. Just basically very simple. Connect, and you say create here. You give it a name, like for, let's say, local database, whatever it is. By default, it listens. It will connect to your local database on this port. Yeah. Just click create, and then after you create, you just connect, and you will see this. Okay. Of course, before you do that, you already started your database. All right. By going, as I explained in the email.
We can go to the bed and start.
Sorry?
We can go to the bed and start.
Yes, yes.
When I tried the
Control.
it didn't work.
You need to use your, what is it? Piazza. You need to use your friend Piazza. You haven't been using it again.
It's working now.
Okay, so what you do, you go to wherever you installed it. I installed it in Mongoose, MongoDB under cbin, and then MongoD. That's it, it will start the server. So once it is started, it's starting and listening on this port 27017, and this tool allows you to connect to it so you can visually interact with it. That's all it's doing. Okay, so so in here, let me just close all these guys. Close. So once you open, you will see all the collections you have in all the collections. Remember the collections? All the collections you have, and you can start expanding them. Here it is. Expand it. You will see there. Right click and say view. It will bring all the documents in that collection. Strange, should be that. It's fine. It's strange. Last time was very fast. Anyway, let it find its way. So whatever you can do with this tool, we want to do it programmatically on our application. We don't want our users to go to this tool and wait like us and type the queries here. We want to provide them an application where we do this work on their behalf. So that's why we use Mongoose as a kind of a library. As a library to help us programmatically interact with our database. Okay, this seems to be strange. Let me connect again. Okay, let me try it again. Mongo. What's the name of it? Robo? Yes. Very strange. Okay. Hopefully this time. Oh, maybe this is an old version. Maybe that's why. Maybe I have different versions here. Yes, I have different versions. So let me try this one. Okay, connect. Let's hope. All right, good. So these are my books that I have there, and I can view them using different views. Here it is. I can view them this way. I can also view them this way. different ways of viewing them. And let's say I just want the one with ISBN 123. Okay, so I type here ISBN. This is how the query works. 123, and I run it, and I'll get ISBN 123. Oh yes, this is a number. This is a number? No. Okay. ISBN. Yes, thank you. All right, that's it. Here's the one. So I can basically run my queries here. I can test them, and then I can take these queries and implement them using Mongoose. So this is a nice tool for you to see what's going on and debug your application and see that everything is working. All right. So now, of course, I don't want to give my users this and get them to do this work. I give them an application, and in the implementation, I'll do whatever I can do using the interface. I want to do it programmatically. All right, so here it is. By the way, even in here, you can add a document. You can edit. You can say edit. It gives you the actual JSON. You can change it if you wish. You can add new one if you want, new, and you type in the JSON here.
But the third here is the way you make the inquiry different from...
A bit different, slightly different, but the syntax is very close. In real life, yes, you're right. In real life, if you are a heavy user of this database, you will need to use both. But they are very, very close. Basically, yes, there are slight differences. For example, in slight differences because when you are programming, this one is already an object, so you don't put the double curly brace. You just put ISBN. That's the only difference. Will it work here? I'm just trying. I'm not sure. I don't think. Oh, it did. Oh, in this case, it's the same. Some of them are the same. It's almost the same because basically Mongoose is just an interface to this language, to this query, native query of the Mongo. Okay, so that's it. Let me now go and show you a couple of things in my repository. Here is how I create. I find a different way now, a better way, because I digged into this a little bit more. Last time I showed you some ways to do it, but now I am showing you a better way. But if you want to use the old way, it's up to you, no problem. So instead of creating an instance of the model and then calling save, you just do create and pass the object. This will save this object to the database. Okay. If you want to do like kind of search or retrieve some documents from the collection, you will use find. In fact, you can use find just like this. This will return you everything, and will return you all the properties. If you wish, you could limit it to certain properties. For example, you just want these properties, you just return those instead of everything. Okay? So it is really up to you. Now, in here, I'm just saying if this parameter is not undefined, then I add a where condition, saying where the category is equal to this category that the user have passed. This I will explain. Forget about this one. Let me just remove it, and I will add it later on. Okay. So far, I already shown you this. I'm just showing you the difference that I discovered. The difference is that you can specify the properties that you want. You don't need to grab everything. Find by ID, I already showed you this. But you can also, if you wish, optionally specify which properties you want to return. Yes. This one is also interesting because authors is an array. So I cannot use equal. Like let's say, let me show you the authors, how the authors look like. Here are the authors. yes, here. It's an array. So if I want, let's say I want the, so let me, some author, okay, this one. Yes, so I can do here author equals this. So it gives me only the books by this particular author. So in the query, you can see here are the, no, it's not doing it. Oh, yes, thank you. Okay, now it's doing it. Can you see? Only these two. All right. So this one is done by two authors. So I am saying, give me the books where the Fatima Zahra is appearing, one of the authors. So I do $in. So this name in this array. So there are many other operators, but you will find this operator very, very useful. Okay. There is one more thing here. The find by ID. There is another one. Oh, find by ISBN. So find by ISBN. I know that the ISBN is unique. So I expect that only one document will be returned. So instead of using find, I use find one. Another. Have a look at this. I'm saying I want all properties except these two. I do minus reduce and minus __ v. So very powerful. Not only you can specify explicitly what you want, you can also specify what you don't want. Okay. So I find this very useful as well.
Doctor, find one is, for example, if you have an array and we want to search in an array, and we know that this property Mongoose have 5 things.
Yeah.
So find one, it just finds only one of them.
No, it has nothing to do with this scenario. No. Here is the collection. So I'll say in the collection, I have books. I am 100% sure only one of them has this ISBN, because ISBN is a unique, globally unique number. So that's why when if I do find, of course it will return one, but it's an array, and I have to grab the first one. So instead I do find one, and I get an object instead of an array. No, there is no, not about processing. It's all about convenience for the developer. Developer, if you do find, what do you get back at your hand? An array of objects. If you do find one, you get an object. Okay, and then you can use it directly. If you are, of course, in here I can do find, but yes, I will return I will basically process the first element. So why should I complicate the thing? I'll just do find one. Is clear? Nothing to do with the scenario you just spoke about. I will kind of come to that at a certain stage. Is clear so far? Okay, now updates. I showed you one way of doing updates, but I discovered there is a much better way of doing it. And have a look at this. So in here, I have a particular book that I want to update. And this is the new object that I want to kind of update the existing one with. So before, I showed you that you can get the object, change its property by itself, one by one, and one of you commented, this is too much. Yeah, and then you save. Okay? In here, you don't need to do that. You just say update. Here is the book I want to update, and here is the new object. And it goes and updates it. Okay, much better than the previous version. All right. Now, delete. I showed you this, but there is a better way. Find by ID and remove, and you give it the ID. But if you don't want this, you can use this. It's up to you. This one is useful if you are not doing it by ID. If you are doing it by ISBN, would be nice. Or you say, remove all authors, all books from this author. You can do it. Okay. All right. There is more stuff. There is more to it. Strange. Where is my things? They just disappear. I had. Okay. Let's see. Add a review. Okay, here it is. Sorry, let me just grab them up, put them up. And you know how to test all of this using the, what is it, Postman. So I'm not going to show you that testing. I will focus now on reviews, how to add a review and how to update a review. So first let me show you. Here is my list. And you can see the reviews collection or the reviews property is empty. Okay. In fact, let me just grab one book so I can just focus on that particular book. Here is the book. I am looking at one particular book. And you can see here the reviews is empty. Now I want to go to this document and just add a review to this particular book. So definitely I will need the ID of the book, isn't it? And I need the review, which like let's say 5-star or 3-star. This is a nice book or terrible book, whatever. That's the review. And then I'll grab that review. What I do with that review? Insert it in here. Okay? With the files, good luck. Lots of coding to do this. With the database, you will see very, very simple. Okay, so let me show you how we do it, like from the user perspective, and then programming behind it. So I will do post, and I will say go to this book, go to the reviews of that book. By the way, this is the way you do URL design. URL design is one of the tasks or one of the design skills you will need to learn. First of all, in URLs, you never put verbs. Never put verbs. URLs are nouns. Okay? Where are the verbs? The HTTP verbs. Yes. The HTTP verbs are the one we use to do what? To manipulate the resource. Remember, what is this? Let me just come back to here. What is this URL? No, I will do a get. But this URL represents a resource. So how do I retrieve a resource? By using the HTTP get verb. How do I change the resource or update the resource? Put. Okay? If I want to create a new resource, post. If I want to remove, delete. So the verbs to manipulate the resource are HTTP verbs. So please don't put, because this is a common, I've seen it many, many times, where people put verbs in the URL. Okay. Now, the way you design URLs is think of the resource as some kind of directory in your hard disk. You know how you navigate from folder to folder until you get to the object you want, the document or you want. Same thing. So if I want to add a review, so I first go to the object, which is book, /reviews. This will be a very nice URL. I'll say post this review to this URL. It makes a lot of sense. Okay? In fact, although we didn't do it here, but in fact I should have programmed my server. If I say /reviews, it should give me the reviews. In fact, I will do it. Yes, please. Yes.
For example, if you are going to any resource from a page, do you need to include, like you used to be in this place, then / where you are going to, or you go directly where you want?
Okay.
Like for example, books, and then / the book, and then whatever. But you were first in somewhere else, so you need to insert this where to that URL too, or I mean from the rules or from the good behavior.
Okay, the good practice. The good practice resources are supposed to be independent. Okay, so for example, here I have books collection or books resources. I have stores, I have, let's say, students, whatever it might be. So all of them are independent. Okay. Now, okay.
To access another thing.
Okay.
The URL there will be
URL there. What do you mean the URL there?
like for example, if you were adding a
Okay, very good.
so the task normally would be in tasks and then task and slash whatever you want in the task specific one. So
Okay. So
this is the where you going is you know the URL there. Like task, then that task.
okay.
Okay? But from the previous you were in some kind of URL.
Okay. So in here, I think you are mixing here. Look, like the interface, the user interface to represent this information in a human readable way, that's another resource.
Yes.
So the HTML page to show this information in a nice table, for example, is a different resource. So you will have, let's say, task.html. That's a different resource. Behind the scenes, using JavaScript, you will go to this resource to read it and fill up the HTML.
Already, but I want to make sure that this is the right thing you do. Now you do them separately.
For sure, yes, separately. Because, first of all, this is a reusable resource. It can be used from a mobile interface, from a web, from anywhere, from Postman, from whatever.
Natural life, I don't understand how they make the arrangement there.
Okay.
Yani it's there.
It is application dependent. It is application dependent. But the basically the good practice is resources. The URLs must be nouns, okay. And then when you are dealing with a particular resource, you design it in a way that you can navigate and drill down into the details of it. So if this service is well designed, I could have gone to /reviews, okay, and I can just get the reviews, or I just can get the authors. You get the idea. So you have a resource, and through the URL, you can manipulate either the whole resource or part of it. Okay. In this scenario, what do we want to do? We want to kind of navigate to this reviews sub-element, and we want to insert a new review. So what is the best URL for inserting a new review in terms of URL? The verb we know, post, because we are creating a new very good. Book ID /reviews. Okay. So that's exactly what I did here. Have a look. So I have here book ID /reviews. And this is the review I want to add. This is a soft reviewer. That's 4, and this is the review. Okay. So if I do here send, here it is. Here is the review added, and it was assigned an ID automatically. Okay. If I go here and refresh, you will see the review here added. All right. So what I wanted to highlight here is the URL design. You see the URL, the way we designed it here. I want the book. I want to change. Am I going to change the whole book? I'm just going to sub-part of it, which is the reviews, and then I say, post this message to this URL. Whoever is listening in there will take that document that's coming in the body of the request and add it as an element of reviews. Is clear? Okay, now let me show you how this is implemented. The very complicated code, a little bit. All right, here it is. Here is add. So the book ID is coming in the URL, and the review is coming in the body of the request, and that's the implementation. I find the book by ID. Once I get the book, I go to the reviews collection, and I push this new review, because this is an array. I use push to add an element to it, and then I save the book. That's it. That's how I add. Of course, this is the way it is called. This is the controller calling it. Here is the controller. Yes. Remember, you have a repository. On top of it, there's the controller. So the controller will call add review, will get the book ID from the URL, and we'll get the review from the body. Okay? And then it will send back the book just for us to see the updated book. Is clear? Yes. Now let's say, sometimes you start reading chapter 1, 2, 3, and then it's all nice. As you progress, you want to change the review, isn't it? So it's no longer 4, it's a 2. It's no longer a fun and scary, and it's no longer a smile. It's not a smile anymore. Okay, this one. All right, and now, how do I update this review? How do you think we should update? First of all, it's put. Put, very good. Put. What else?
Same URL.
Same URL? Are you sure?
Yes. And then you put the body here.
But this one has a, yes. See here, because if I do /reviews, I'm talking about all reviews. But this is only for this soft reviewer, they change their mind, not all reviews. So what do you think the URL should have? Yes, / review ID, which I had here. See here? Yes. Of course, if you are providing a user interface, you already can grab this yourself. Users will not, of course, type this. But you see the idea here. This is the secret of URL design. You go from the whole to the parts. You navigate to the parts. So you went from book to reviews to a particular review. What you want to do to that particular review? Replace it with a new review. Okay? So if I send, make sure it's put and send, and you can see here it's changed. Okay? And have a look at the implementation. Here is the implementation.
You get the ID and the body. You need the ID and the body.
Yep. Yes, the idea of the body. Yes, the same idea. Here is the update. So in the updates, you get the book. Okay. You get that particular review using this syntax. This is an array, so they provide a method called ID. Not the best, but anyway, that's how they called it. And basically, I'm getting that particular review. I'm changing the rating and the text, and then saving it. Are you following? So here there's no loop. I get everything like in files. I go to what I want to the sub-object I want to update, and I update it directly. Kind of, because yes, you're right. But remember, this one you need to be really, if you kind of look at it very deeply, you are interacting with thanks to MongoDB. Sorry, to Mongoose. And when you are doing this interaction with Mongoose, in the background, Mongoose will generate MongoDB queries. Okay? So this stuff will be translated to a query. Okay? So the syntax is very close to the normal JavaScript, like especially in here. This is an array, we know how to add. But this one is a bit different, yes, I agree. You don't have dot .id in a normal array. But remember, this is a model object. It has more than the normal, let's say, normal array. Okay? It has some extra capabilities. Okay, is clear so far? All right, the last feature I really want to show you, these features that I'm showing you, the reason I'm showing them to you, because they are very common. You will use them all over, as you will see. That's why I updated this to show you these features. The last thing I want to show you is this linking objects together. Remember, the book is linked to store, okay? So let me first show you. Can somebody see store here somewhere? No, maybe it's not in this one, because I didn't put it in the select. I didn't put it in the select. The store is there. But in here, store. Can you see store?
Yes.
Store, but I didn't want to show it like this. Okay, I know what's going on. So let me just restart this guy and go back here. Here is the store. Can you see it? The store is an ID referring to the store. Like if we, let me grab this ID here. I'll go.
Stores, then that ID.
Yes. Let me just verify with this Rombo guy. These are stores. If I just view, surprising, many stores. Yeah, that is fine. I know why. It's fine. I know why, but basically there is a store, and this is the ID of that store. In fact, if I just do here underscore ID, remember that ID I had there? If I run unexpected illegal token. Double quotes, yes, thank you. I see. No, because this one has, let me try this. Still didn't like it. Didn't like it. No, let me just. Oh yes, I know what's going on here. Object ID. This is the way it is in the native MongoDB language. Okay, you have to put the ID inside this object's ID. Just to denote this is not really a string, it's an ID. Okay, it doesn't matter, but basically this is our store. Now this doesn't look very nice. I wish I could resolve it and put the actual store in here, the actual details. Are you following? So, book as it is stored. Have a look at this. If we go to the book and open this guy, and you can see here, where is the store?
Object of there.
Here it is. It's an ID. But ideally, I want to replace that ID by the object itself. Okay, that's the power of Mongoose and the power of having this reference here, defining this as a reference. So to be able to do this, what I will do, I will go to my, here is my repository, and I'll say here, where is the find? Here is find. Here's the query. I'll say before you execute, I want you to also go and populate, yes, the store property. Because this is a change, I have to rerun it again. Okay, and then now if I go and refresh, I get the full store here. You get the idea? So, although this is an array, it's not very good. I don't want it to be an array. I just want it to be, unless if it's a different store. All right. Okay, no problem. It's a feature, not a bug. Okay, that's it. You get the idea. The idea here, if you mark it as a reference, you can ask for that particular property to be replaced with the actual object. So before you execute the query, call populate, and it will go and replace the ID with the actual object. Is clear? So the purpose of this session, what I wanted to show you, is a couple of things. Schema can be as complex as I showed you, with arrays, with objects, with array of objects. I showed you a better way of doing create, a better way of doing update. I showed you this $in if you want to search within an array in the query. I also showed you the URL design if you want to update part of the document. Either add to an array within a document or update particular elements in that array. Okay? And then I showed you this concept of having a property referring to an object in another collection and asking Mongoose to populate that property with the actual object rather than the ID. So all these are the, I think I can kind of say 60% of really what the core capabilities. But if you master this, it covers more than 90% of the cases. Okay? And there are other query operators, like greater than, less than, that in the slides I'll provide you the link to explore them further. Okay, so next time, what I want to show you next time, and just to introduce the idea, we will see a couple of things. The concept of a session, the concept of a cookie in web development in general, okay? And we've seen already another one called local storage. Remember local storage? Yes. Okay. These three ways allows like different requests to communicate with, like to kind of share some information between requests. You know, by default, HTTP is known as a stateless protocol. What does this mean, stateless? Does not keep state. What is in the concept of state? This is a very important concept. The concept of a state. Okay. No, not really. In general, what is the concept of a state? Especially in terms of conversation. When you are doing some conversation with someone, hopefully as you discuss with them, you are building some state. Like, let's say you met somebody the first time. They say, what's your name? Name is Kada. Which program you doing? And so on. So you are building some state. No, you are keeping some pieces of information from previous conversations. Otherwise, after a few minutes, you say, oh, by the way, what's your name? Okay? So you need to keep certain state. Okay? But sometimes also you should not keep too much state. Okay? Otherwise, you will give yourself very hard time. Especially the bad state. Say, oh, remember 10 years ago when I met you in there and you gave me that bad, not smile, not that kind of a bad look. So that state, you just forget about it. But certain good state, you should keep. Okay. Same thing. In design, you try to make it as stateless as possible. Because stateless is very good. You don't keep any unnecessary stuff. Slows you down, and you keep only the minimum necessary pieces of information from previous interactions. You get the idea. So it's all about what we know as state management. How do we? Because when you have a client and server, you are doing a lot of request reply. But sometimes you need to keep pieces of information from previous requests. For example, somebody can give me an example of things that you keep in the state? And not the username and password, the user object itself. Remember when you did your homework? Yeah, I think so. When you did homework 2, you had one problem. How do I, when I move to the next page? Yes. How do I know who was the user? So in the login, you need to keep that user. Last time, where did you kept it? On the local storage. But there are other alternatives, especially if you have something sensitive, you don't want to keep on the client side, you can keep it on the server side in something called session. So these two, cookie and a local storage, are on the client side. Whatever you put is visible to the client. And if somebody, of course, gets to the browser, they can get to this stuff. While the server, the session, is on the server side. So for example, when you go to Amazon and add an item to the cart, that item that you added to your cart, it doesn't go to the cookie, it doesn't go to the local storage, it goes to server session on the server side. Okay? And of course, Amazon, they really like that session, and they keep it for you. And they keep reminding you, please come back and check out. We know you have some items in the cart. So so here you choose which one. You need to understand these buckets or these places where you can put state, and you need to be able to choose which one is the best based on the scenario you have at hand. Okay? So inshallah, next time is all about session management using session cookie and local storage. All right? Thank you. See you next time.